Help support Friendo Club by going to patreon.com/Steven Larson or clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Access to bonus episodes, question threads for the Going In Raw podcast, and entry to our monthly wrestling predictions challenges. Join the Friendo Club today. Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, the road to WrestleMania continues as we look at last night's Monday Night Raw. Seth, Rollins, and Cody Rhodes drop a promo where they accept the I got to put my dog on the couch again. Larson, what else are we going to talk about today?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. About I don't think it's going to be official till Friday, but yeah, it seems like Cody and Seth are going to accept the Rock's challenge for that tag match at WrestleMania. We're also going to talk about some news. There's Dog. We're going to talk about Paul Heyman discussing his role and the inspiration for Bloodline Creative, and talking also about Vince McMahon apparently selling a bunch TKO stock and what that could mean.
Am I allowed to do a goddammit, pal? Probably not great, right?
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
Probably can't do that.
I'm not going to tell you what not to, but I advise you it's a bad idea.
I appreciate you not censoring me. I appreciate that. God.
No,
That's a lot of money, though.
It is a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious what your take is on what that means, and maybe even better, like what the take out there is, because like you and I, we're not like business aficionados.
We're not financial type guys.
No, we're not. But maybe there's some people out there.
About financial stuff. I know.
Oh, there's nothing. Okay, I thought that maybe you'd have like maybe Brandon Thurston would say something like,
"Oh, this is just pure speculation at this point, man."
Awesome. Let's speculate on why Vince McMahon is selling so much stock. But
before
first,
we get to that, let's talk about Paul Heyman, of course, soon to be WWE Hall of Famer. Spoke to the New York Post about his induction happening in a matter of weeks. And talked about how much input and the inspiration behind the creative of the Bloodline. This is what Paul had to say, quote, "When Roman Reigns and I had a chance to work together starting in August of 2020, our designation was to put together a body of work that would, upon reflection, compete with Peaky Blinders, The Sopranos, The Wire, Fargo, Breaking Bad, the most compelling dramas with the most riveting villains that anyone has ever seen. It's a disruption of what had become the status quo of sports entertainment, then a constant search for us to disrupt that disruption." He continues, "I carry a significant voice in how we are portrayed and presented. That includes everything from camera angles to music to storylines. I don't know if I could only be a performer. I wouldn't be satisfied. I wouldn't be happy with just going out there and doing our shtick. I have to have a voice. I have to have some level of input, and so far as luck would have it, that input has been not only welcome but encouraged and very well received." It's good to see the inspiration didn't lie in other wrestling stories. You know, they cast their gaze to a broader subject matter than pro wrestling, and that is prestige television.
Yeah.
And to take inspiration from the shows listed, I would imagine others. That's pretty cool. And in a lot of ways, we have seen your standard pro wrestling tropes, as Paul Heyman here says, disrupted to a degree in terms of how the story is told, not necessarily in terms of how the matches are constructed. And by that, I mean the constant and seemingly copy and paste finishes to a lot of them, but in terms of the dramatic story beats and the depth of character that we've seen throughout this Bloodline story. It's been great to see something that's more complex and has more depth than "I don't like you, let's fight." You know what I mean?
I love that the ambition was there from the beginning. I'd love to go back, you and I, and maybe we can do this tomorrow if you roll over here for Friendo Club, but we had discussed we had discussed the idea of reacting to how we first reported on certain things. Mm-hmm. And in whipping up the lazy thumbnail today, looking for a picture of Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns, there was that first picture of them sitting on the couch next to each other back in, I believe, September or August of 2020. Yeah. And I who knows what discussions were held back then in terms of like, hey, what story are we going to tell? There was still, and even through much of the best of the Bloodline stuff, Vince McMahon was still there. So, it seems like Roman and Paul Heyman at the very least have quite a bit of pull even when Vince was around. And a lot of that, I think, had to do with them But, there were plans, for example, at day one for Roman to lose the title, if reports are to be believed.
Yeah.
And so who knows what other twists and turns, but what they ended up with anyways, within the context of pro wrestling anyways, could definitely be considered the Mad Men, the Breaking Bad, the Succession of pro wrestling. You and I have often referred to it, and I honestly don't believe it's hyperbole, the best wrestling storyline ever told. And even though it's got its peaks and valleys of quality in terms of the creative, what's going on right now with Roman Reigns and The Rock, for example, again, some of the most compelling stuff that we've seen, and it all has to do with the bloodline. So it's awesome to know that the ambition is there. I only wish, I really honestly do wish, and I understand that wrestling, because it's sort of like a never-ending story, maybe it's difficult, and the people in charge are still the people who want to protect the business. But this is just a little, some crumbs of what goes on behind the scenes in creative. And granted, maybe up until the bloodline, there hasn't, and there's plenty of shoot interviews out there, and I get that. But this really is the kind of story that I feel fans would get such a kick out of understanding what happens behind the scenes, who's doing the writing. We get, bits and pieces via, Fightful or Meltzer or whatever. Mm-hmm. But like the process and the why they go in certain directions. I mean, especially right now with the whole, is it or is it not a pivot with the Cody Roman, Rock Roman situation. I think people would really love to know a lot more about the behind the scenes stuff.
Agreed. That's something that we've been talking about in the world of wrestling, kind of writ large for a long time, is more transparency in terms of the process of putting this stuff together, whether it's matches, whether it's storylines, how those two things intersect. That'd be great to see, and that's kind of that's still the mystery of pro wrestling in a lot of ways. It's like, I could sit here and I know how matches are put together. I've seen it happen. But, to hear about how, I don't know, Kenny Omega and Okada put together their matches.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And oh my gosh, she did it again.
You actually saw how she did it this time.
No, I did not.
So Larson earlier during the pre-show had mentioned that his dog, please show her. Let's get a 2-dog special today. The best. I'm a big dummy.
There we go.
That poor animal. That poor animal. Oh, she's so cute.
Second time today that she somehow, because she got spayed about 10 days ago.
When does that thing come off? It's been 10 days.
Oh, probably tomorrow.
Okay, that's good.
They said 2 weeks. Well, 10 days to 14.
We're almost there, May. We're almost there.
Tomorrow. It'll come off tomorrow. You're about to fall asleep, aren't you? You're tired.
I love my cone. It's my favorite thing.
I don't know how she's done that.
Oh,
Twice
man.
So far.
That was amazing. But yeah, getting back to it, I really do appreciate that the ambition was large in this case. Yeah. And I wonder, again, at what point did they really understand, hey, we've got something special on our hands? And I go back to that first feud with Jey Uso when Roman was able to get him under thumb and Al was in front of a bunch of screens. The crowd missing that crowd reaction to that story.
Yeah.
Is a all things considered within the proper context, a tragedy. You know what I mean? Like it's an absolute shame that we didn't get to see how that crowd would have reacted to Jey Uso back then.
And I wonder how, in terms of the presentation of the story, and most famously the contract signing with Drew McIntyre, where they conducted that pretty much exclusively without microphones, and the intimacy with which it was presented that way was so different and felt fresh.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't do that in front of a live crowd, but you could in the Thunderdome. Where there are other instances during the early days of the Bloodline story when it was exclusively in the Thunderdome, where perhaps moments benefited from being in that environment versus in an arena full of fans.
Yeah.
There was times, it didn't happen very often, but there was times where WWE took the concept of Thunderdome and really explored what they could do with that in terms of how they produced their stories.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, you got to think if what Heyman here is saying is, because the production is so much of it. Production is so much of it. And you have to wonder also, Heyman he's a hell of, obviously the guy, is one of the best politicers in wrestling. So, he knows how to talk to people, obviously.
Yeah.
That's sort of an understatement. But having to deal with Kevin Dunn and how seemingly set in stone he has been. Now, Heyman's obviously been around for a very long time, and him and Kevin Dunn probably go back a long, long way. So he probably has had at the time the pull with him to do that kind of stuff. But again, it's one of those things where I'd really love to know the details of the push and pull when it came to how to present this story.
Exactly. Yeah, totally. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff that we could all learn if they ever did, a documentary, someone wrote a book, whatever the case may be, in terms of understanding the process behind all of this. And were there certain moments informed by certain works, was there certain things that played out a certain way because Roman was watching The Sopranos or something like that,
That's
hear about
that's
the inspiration
point, yeah.
behind particular moments would be interesting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, hopefully one day somebody will write a book. So
I hope so.
Guy Evans can write the Bloodline book.
There you go. Guy Evans' Bloodline.
I don't know why the S with the apostrophe after it is so funny.
Guy Evans.
Guy Evans is Nitro. Anyways. God damn it.
No, you can't do it. You shouldn't do that.
I'm not allowed to do that
You
anymore.
shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that.
I appreciate you. You're kind of censoring me, but yeah.
I'm advising you. I'm not telling you, Steve. I'm advising you.
Are you my as my advocate?
I'm your special counsel.
You're my special counsel.
So
right.
as
you're my wise man. Oh, God help me if you're my wise man.
God help us all. As Steve alluded to there, we got some Vince news. So WrestleNomics' Brandon Thurston reported yesterday that Vince McMahon has sold over 5 million shares of TKO stocks. That's about 25% of his remaining total shares, valued at $412 million. So after the sale, Vince now holds roughly 9%. I think Meltzer said like 8.3, somewhere between 8 and 9% of the total outstanding TKO shares. November he sold a bunch. I think between those two sales, he netted, gross about $1 billion. Don't know what it is after taxes. That would be the net.
Do you know what his ownership percentage was prior to this, or even prior to?
I want to feel like. It seemed like if the math would have to indicate somewhere in the teens.
Okay.
If now is at 9 after selling 5 million, and the last sale I think got him about 700 million.
Okay.
It'd have to be.
I don't know what he started at.
15 or 16, that'd be my guess.
Okay. All right.
Probably 15, maybe 14. Somewhere between 14 to 16, I would imagine.
What do you think he needs all that money for? He's going to be rolling around in it. Legal bills.
He's trying to have
legal bills can add up, man. Legal bills can add up, but that's like $1 billion is a lot of money.
Yeah, there's no. I haven't seen any reports about if this means anything more than he is just essentially cashing out. Yeah. I guess me as someone who wants to see Vince out of the business, I know he is gone from any sort of day-to-day involvement.
The more he sells off, the better.
Exactly, because as you think, he only has 9% of the total shares, not that much. He's probably still one of the top at least 10 individual stockholders in TKO, you would think.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And with that comes some potential sway if he had the means to exercise that. We don't want that to happen. We want him gone. And the more shares he sells...
Practically speaking, I agree with that. I wonder practically speaking, though, especially now that he's like persona non grata, he's absolutely toxic at this point.
Yeah.
I would think that that sway would come if they need any big business moves and they need, votes for those big business moves. I don't know what he could do or what he couldn't do.
Don't know either.
But, it seems unlikely that from our perspective, he can call and be like, I've got 9% of stock. I want to do this now in the WWE.
That wouldn't be possible.
You
But
know?
like, yeah, if they had any huge business moves they wanted to undertake that might need the backing of the largest shareholders, then yeah,
Mhm, you would
obviously
think
as one
so,
of them,
yeah.
then he would have some say in that decision potentially.
Yeah.
You know, and if he sold $1 billion worth of stock, and you know, again, speculation, if it's a situation where he's going to start divesting himself of TKO shares, you know, he might have been advised by someone at TKO, hey, don't sell them off all at once because the value is going to go down of the share.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
individually,
yeah.
You know, so do it in chunks. You're gone. TKO as a business can move forward without having to worry about Vince McMahon. And I don't, you know, we don't know what kind of conversations have happened within Titan Towers or the new building now, or TKO business offices, Endeavor business offices or conference rooms about all this. So, you know, it's right now you can only speculate if there's any motivation or what the motivation would be for selling all this stock other than just getting money.
Yeah. Yeah. I would just do it to look at it. You know, just put in a big, you know,
You would
all
just
cash.
You'd
all
have your
cash.
bands. What 10,000?
A band is 10,000. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have your band at 10,000. Just stack them.
What's 1,000?
What do you mean? What's 1,000?
There's
1,000
like-
would be 10 100s.
No, if a band is 10,000, isn't
Yeah.
there like a term for 1,000?
No, I think because you get 100 because each stack is 100, right?
Okay.
100 hundreds is 10,000.
Okay. All right. Thought there was a term for it.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. All right.
I just know
I'll have to
a
look
band
into
is
that more.
10,000. Yeah.
There you go. All right. So yeah, dude, I don't know. I would just East Side Reviews has it right. Bands to make her dance.
It's a good song.
All them chicks. Can't say it.
Didn't they have
Racks.
a...
Thank you. Racks.
Ah, okay. Didn't
I
they
think
have
is a rack is 10,000, isn't
Oh,
it? And a
maybe,
band is
because-
1,000.
That could be because
That's what
didn't
it is. That's
didn't
what
they
it
have
is.
Didn't they have like a flash game or a mobile game about that song?
I think maybe they did. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah,
yeah.
that song
The rack
was-
is 10. Yeah. Okay.
That song was super popular for a while.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Anyways, yeah, it was a good song.
that was a good song.
Anyways, so what did you think about Raw last night?
Well, let's talk about this Cody Seth thing because you know I was watching it, and then I see some reaction. I see some interpretation on social media today, and you know on the surface, Seth being so rah, let's end the bloodline. I'm sorry, Maggie. He comes off as kind of a dork. He does.
So I will say this to hop onto that.
Yes,
They both came off really dorky last night.
they did.
But you
Super
could
dorky.
see as Seth was doing the diarrhea Dwayne thing, Cody like sort of put his head down. It was like, not the best burn in the
So
world.
I imagine what the goal of that was. The diarrhea Dwayne bit was to kind of poke fun at The Rock's kind of juvenile insult.
Yeah, you say douchebag, you say whatever.
The
Yeah.
problem was I didn't feel like it was framed in such a way. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
hey, if Seth says, "Hey, I got a nickname for Dwayne," let's try to think of something Dwayne would say. You know, if he framed it that way. Let's take inspiration from The Rock and come up with a real clever nickname. Be really sarcastic about it. How about
A
it?
real juvenile. Yeah.
It came off as earnest.
It came off sincere. That's the problem.
And if that's your earnest attempt at a insulting nickname at The Rock, it's awful. And I saw the reaction to that on social media, just lambasting Seth for it. Well, I guess whoever wrote it, honestly, but Seth's the one that had to present it because it's, if delivered sincerely and earnestly, it's terrible.
You know, it's also kind of fitting though, because he's going to be the guy walking out of Mania without his title.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry, that dude.
It's gonna be a long weekend for Seth Rollins. WrestleMania weekend.
It's going to be a long weekend for Seth.
Because here's another thing.
He's going to do an offer.
Yeah, he is. So Cody opens up with Seth saying, hey, you got Drew at WrestleMania. That is a massive challenge. Don't feel obligated to help me. Because I think Cody wants an out because he realizes, well, if Seth helps me, I should probably help him. Cody does not want to do that. He wants to focus on getting that title. He doesn't want to worry about Drew. He didn't have to worry about the rest of the bloodline, honestly.
Yeah.
But if he's got some other plan involving The Rock, Seth could complicate all that unless he lets Seth in on the plan, which he can't do.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Cody's like, Seth, no, go. Worry about your title. Don't worry about bloodline business. I have that taken care of. And then when Seth asks Cody, hey, I have your back as long as you have mine, and Cody's like,
about that second part there.
I'll answer that question with a message for The Rock. Like, he doesn't address it. He deflects.
Oh, man. He ain't got his back, which is going to... Look, I'm telling you, man, this shit's going to set up some awesome shit. This is going to set up...
It's going to be wild. You're going to have Seth turn out Cody only for The Rock to help out Cody. It's going to be crazy. He's going to have all sorts of ups and downs in that main event.
I came up with this, and I know this is going to piss some people off because I know I'm supposed to be number one Cody guy. I was so put off by that promo last night, and I was so intrigued by Roman Reigns on SmackDown. I've got a new want as a fanboy.
Oh.
I want all things coming down on Roman Reigns and him to retain at WrestleMania. I had a thought that he was going to retain anyways, but now I don't think that's going to happen. But I want The Rock with his L1 looking at Roman Reigns saying you're entitled and you're going to lose, and this is the beginning of of our story. And Cody now, and here's the thing. I think that it's so shady. It's like, hey, man, you got a truck. Hey, Larson, you have a truck. I know you don't have a truck, but this is kayfabe. You have a truck, and I need somebody. Guy. I know. And I need somebody to help me move. I know you got a lot going on, so feel free not to. Now you feel obligated to help me move, which is like the worst thing a friend could ever ask somebody. If you're a true friend and you have a friend who has a truck, guess what? That truck is not there for you to move.
No, it's not. Not.
Don't ask them to do anything.
There's U-Hauls all over the place, you know?
There's U-Hauls. There's two guys in a truck. I think that's the thing still.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's moving services. There's U-Haul.
Plunk down some money and get somebody else to do it. Not your friend. Exactly. That's not being a friend.
No.
Cody is asking Seth to help him move, but giving him an out, knowing that Seth
here's the thing. Cody is not asking Seth for anything. Seth is imposing on Cody for Seth to help him.
Man, as soon as Cody got one whiff that Seth Rollins, come on, man, I'm a student of human nature here. As soon as Cody got one whiff that Seth Rollins was going to step up at that press conference, Cody was like, I'm going to challenge The Rock one. This is Cody's plan, man. He is a smart, savvy guy, and he knew he's going to be roping Seth in there, and he knows damn well that this is going to cost Seth his title and get Cody what he wants.
I don't know. No, I don't know about that.
A master. What did he call The Rock? A master politician?
Yeah.
That's what they do. That's what they do. They point the finger at somebody else, and it is them.
Cody doesn't need Seth, though. He's got Jay, he's got Sammy, he's got Kevin Owens, and he probably has The Rock. He doesn't need Seth. Seth might make it over. Seth's involvement potentially makes it overly complicated, especially when Seth needs him during his match at Mania Night 2, the co-main event, which they said last night for the World Heavyweight Championship, Seth and Drew, where the Bloodline's out there to cost Seth that title, and Cody is nowhere to be found because he's focusing on his own match. Seth's going to be pissed off backstage, go up to Cody, where were you, man? I had your back through all this. Where were you when I needed you? And Cody's be like, I had my own match to worry about.
Cody will find a way to make it seem like there was a reason why he wasn't there for him. Cody will find a way.
I don't know, man. Seth having Cody's back, given what everything Seth has to deal with, complicates things potentially for Cody to a degree that may be unnecessary if The Rock is a sleeper agent within the bloodline.
Larson, he needs bodies.
He has bodies.
He needs more. The more, the better. Jay, he had bodies last year. He had bodies last year, and it didn't help.
He had two. He had Sammy and he had Kevin Owens. Now he has both them and Jay, plus maybe The Rock.
Yeah.
He doesn't need Seth.
He doesn't know that he's got The Rock. He doesn't know that he's got The Rock. Yeah, he doesn't know that he's got.
I mean, if The Rock is a sleeper agent, he's a sleeper agent from moment one. All right.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. I don't know that Rock is going to play sleeper agent for Cody.
I don't know that either. Everything hinges on that. It's a massive if.
Getting back to it, though, this is all conspiring. Rock, Cody, Seth, it's all conspiring against Roman. And Roman wants one simple thing. He wants one simple thing. Acknowledgement. That's all he wants. He wants what you and I want. Larson, he wants what you and I want, which is why we ask the people here, the friendos, to hit that thumbs up. You got it right. It's a thumbs up. That's what we want. Similar to Roman Reigns, the victim in this situation, Larson. The true victim here. The true hero here. Just like we're the true heroes here at Going In Raw. We need that thumbs up. Also, hit that subscribe button because your heroes are on a mission. And this mission is to get a palindrome on our YouTube subscriber number. And that's, what is it, 201,102.
201,102. Yeah, that's right.
Right. We're inching forward. Of course, we're on the road to WrestleMania. Our own WrestleMania is that palindrome. Maybe we can hit it by WrestleMania. That'd be awesome. So yeah, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. The notify bell so you always know when we're going live or when we have a new video going up. Also, we've got bonus episodes. I know I said this was going to go up yesterday. I got to get a thumbnail done for the latest Friendo cast. But it's definitely going to be going as soon as we're done here. I'm whipping up that thumbnail while you get the audio, and then we're going to play some basketball.
Yeah, we're going to shoot some hoops.
But yeah, we got bonus episodes, access to our question threads, and of course, access to the Big Blue Predictions Challenge. Man, oh man, we've got a huge one coming up. There's this little indie show called The WrestleMania you might have heard of.
Never heard of it. Tell me more.
Oh man, it's the show of shows. The extravaganza of wrestling.
I think I would have heard of it if it was a show of shows. Obviously, it's not that huge of a spectacle, Steve.
It is the spectacle. It's greater.
Why haven't I heard of it then?
It's greater than or equal to one of those Saudi Arabia shows.
Oh, that's a lofty goal.
We're doing a huge predictions challenge coming up for the WrestleMania. And if you want to get involved, if you want to show that yours is superior, very easy to do it. We offer two different ways. Click join right here at youtube.com/Stephen Larson, or go to patreon.com/Stephen Larson and go to the Friendo Club setup. If you guys get the Friendo Club setup, if enough of you get the Friendo Club setup, Larson and I, your heroes, get the Tribal Chief setup. That means 10 times the money, 10 times less the work.
Isn't that what everybody was after?
Let us live your dreams for you. Let's get some super chats in. Eastside Reviews says, count out list idea, top 10 Paul Heyman guys. Really quick, who are the top 10 Paul Heyman guys? I mean, number one, I know he's persona non grata, but
redacted,
It's Brock. It's Brock.
Well, there's Phil. CM Punk's pretty high up there.
He's probably number two.
Roman.
Oh, wait, what am I talking about? Roman's number one. Yeah,
Roman's
my bad.
Number one.
Roman, Brock, Punk.
Well, Big Show.
Brother, that's got to be at like number 10, right?
No particular order.
Okay, all right.
Curtis Axel.
Yeah, Claudio or Cesaro.
Yeah. Dangerous Alliance. There's a lot of people in there.
The Dangerous Alliance. Yeah, we don't have to narrow it down. It's a crew. Yeah. Who's he rolling with? There in ECW. Who's rolling with?
I mean, you gotta think of anybody in ECW. He didn't completely alienate.
He was like one man gang. I think was a Heyman guy at one point in ECW.
You mean 911?
911. I always get those guys mixed up. 911 was a Heyman guy at one point.
Yeah.
Who else are we? Oh yeah, Mean Mark Callis. Yeah, he was a Heyman guy. Yeah. Well, I guess instead of just Roman, it'd be the entire Bloodline because he was managing like proto Bloodline guys like way back in the day.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. So
I don't know about ECW guys because I don't know how many of those guys he alienated.
Probably a lot of
them. I mean,
he was the guy
on screen Paul Heyman guys.
He was the guy that counted the 3 for RVD over John Cena.
That's true.
So maybe like he could be considered that. I don't know. Anyways, good idea though. And then let's see here, Steve Kuharski. This is sad. He says, finally made a live stream again. Called out of work today. One of my best friends passed away yesterday. Aww. Now I really hope Cody finishes his story. Well, you know what, man? We lost one of our best friends almost a year ago.
Yep.
And we know how hard that is. So we're glad that we're here for you, Steve.
Yep.
And our hearts go out to you.
Yeah, our condolences.
Yeah. And then Jose Alaguna says the voice is calling to Steve like the goblin. The Vince voice is calling me like the Green
Steve,
Goblin has.
As your special counseling advised you not to do that.
It's like I'm in the alleyway and it's like sitting there on the dumpster or whatever. It's like,
yeah, no. It's
like, no, leave me alone, Satan.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
Anyways, let's talk. We can start talking about Raw. And if anything else jumps out at us that we need to discuss in detail, we can. So it opens up with shots of Jay, Nia, arriving at the arena. They're in 2 huge matches tonight. We get a elimination chamber and SmackDown that follows with The Rock Bloodline recap package. Cody's music hits.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa! So he comes to the ring, says, "San Antonio, what do we?" Oh,
we're not gonna do the whole thing.
Oh, all right. So
don't we get to choose like one segment that we get to do verbatim?
This is like the longest talkie segment of the show.
It's so long, dude.
It is very long.
That's why.
So anyways, Cody comes out and just says, "Hey, I'm in the main event against Mania, but I have a distraction that stings."
The main event. Did you say I'm in the main event against Mania?
Oh, maybe I did. He says, "I got a distraction that stings." Shout out to Sting, it felt like, from Cody quite a bit.
Oh yeah, and they shot during the Gunther match.
They did.
Commentary shouted out Sting. That was nice.
And so he talks about The Rock's social media promo. He talks about him talking for a half hour on Friday. And he says the real story, though, out of that is The Rock didn't accept his challenge. He issued a challenge of his own. And so he did talk about the conversation that he and The Rock had prior to that SmackDown, February 2nd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
Cody briefly stepped aside when he says The Rock was pouring honey in his ear, told me the people didn't want Cody versus Roman. The people wanted Rock Roman.
Mm-hmm.
But then he heard the fans chanting something else. And he knows WWE officials heard it. He heard it. He knows The Rock heard it. So now we got an entirely different challenge. So he says, let's bring out Seth and we can get his take on things. So Seth comes.
That was a pretty interesting bit, though, is that, I mean, he kind of framed it a little bit like there is more to it than how Rock framed it. But essentially, Rock wasn't telling lies. And I'm like, Cody, let's talk about personal responsibility, buddy, and keeping your word here, man. And his main point of contention seemed to be that Rock spent a lot of time on a wonderful PowerPoint presentation that Cody took issue with because it, in his eyes, minimized the impact that his family had, where it's like, okay, Cody, can you whip up a tree with like 100 names on it that goes back like 50 years? No? Okay, well then what do you want, man? It's like you Gold Dust and Dusty, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the extent of it. Like the Harts have a bigger family tree than you do.
Yeah, that's true. Man, you're turning against Cody here real fast. It's fascinating. I never thought to see the day this would happen.
No, man. You know, deep down, I'll probably still mark out huge when Cody gets that win. But, you know, gotta throw up your ones.
So Seth comes to the ring. He does the Monday Night Rollins thing. He asks Cody, what do you think? And this is when Cody says to him, hey, you don't have to have my back. You got a huge thing to deal with here, defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Drew at Mania. I'd understand if you want to step back and focus on that. And Seth says, don't worry. He brushes it off nonchalantly. Mm-hmm. I got Drew taken care of.
Yeah.
Says, but there's more important things to deal with, and that's Bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
And he mentions 10 years ago, he and Roman came up together. Seth says, I wanted to take power and give it back to the people. Whereas Roman wanted to take power and keep it all for himself. And Seth says, now that The Rock is part of Bloodline, Roman is this close to attaining absolute power.
Mm-hmm.
So now is the time to strike and break up the Bloodline. And it all culminates with him saying, oh, this is when he called him Diarrhea Dwayne.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Everything, he says, everything out of The Rock's mouth has consistency of wet baby poop. It didn't hit.
No, it didn't.
It didn't hit. It.
The crowd was polite about it, though.
Yeah, they were like, all right. No.
They were like, okay, we like you. You've got a wonderful Volt turtleneck.
Yeah, the whole Volt ensemble
matching
fantastic.
Pants, yeah.
In the turtleneck and the jacket. Too bad he didn't have any Volt shoes and Volt sunglasses. There should have been head to toe Volt.
Oh, yeah.
So he says he's cleared. Seth says he'll be on SmackDown this Friday, confront the Bloodline. He says, I've asked you many times. I told you I got your back, but do you have mine? And Cody says, well, to answer your question, I also have a message for The Rock.
Oh, wow.
He says, it's been a long time since you haven't been handed something. The People's Champ title is not perpetuity. Says, I am not the same man as you. I won't whine in a 21-minute promo. I'm coming to SmackDown with Seth, stand across from you and the whole Bloodline in the great state of Texas this Friday. I will give you face-to-face, not whispering in your ear, my clear and obvious answer to what is happening at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Seth noticed that Cody didn't say, yes, Seth, I have your back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Got problems here.
Yeah, this is not smooth sailing right here.
Well, yeah, Cody does not want Seth's help.
Yeah, this is a lot of motive. Yeah, man, boy, I don't know that you call somebody out. Don't you just text them and say, hey, well, you don't do that in wrestling, but you kind of like avoid the person if you don't want that, or you get back on the mic and say, Rock, I'm not dragging my friend Seth Rollins into this. I want you one-on-one.
Like I'm telling you, Seth is the type of character now that Cody's like, oh, it's fine, I could do it. It's fine. I'm totally like. It's going to be Cody going to Seth and saying, I don't need your help. I appreciate the offer.
So you think this is more a situation where two friends arrange to go out, but one guy doesn't really want to go out, but he doesn't want to disappoint the other friend. He's like, hey, man, I know you got a lot going on. We don't have to go out tonight. And the friend is like, no, man, I want to go out. It's all good. You think Cody's trying to wiggle out of Seth?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Man, I don't know, dude. I kind of feel like Cody is just, he's the type, just human shield, just pushing everybody out, so to speak.
I mean, but again, that all hinges on if the Rock's in the Bloodline to ultimately help Cody. It all hinges on that. If that's not the case, then sure, I guess maybe Cody could use Seth's help. But he doesn't really seem to. At no point has he like reached out to Seth and be like, "Help me, brother." It's always Seth more or less imposing on Cody.
Cody's not that obvious about it. He's a manipulator.
No,
he's
I know.
A manipulator.
But how is Cody trying to manipulate Seth by opening this whole thing saying, you don't need to help me, you got your hands full with Drew McIntyre?
Oh, dude, come on. You haven't done that before? Man, no, I'm telling you. Because you know the other person is a good guy, and they're going to be like, no, man, it's good. I got it. And that's what you really want. You're giving them an out, but you're also kind of playing to their sympathy card. Yeah, man.
Cody doesn't want Seth's help.
Pete Santiago with a super chat, $5. Thank you very much, Pete. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Pete.
Dude, Cody will step on everybody's body that he lays down in order to get that title.
I don't disagree with that.
After that, we have Dom warming up backstage because this poor bastard is about to face Gunther. This was a really fun match, Dominic versus Gunther.
It really was.
Dominic was able to sort of finagle and maneuver his way into chopping Gunther a bunch of times just to piss this guy off. JD sort of got down there too. Dominic was able to sort of strike at Gunther's chop hand by ducking when he was going for, and instead Gunther ended up hitting the post.
Yeah.
Dominic rammed it into the post. But in the end, pissing off Gunther is just not a good idea.
No.
Dom ate some nasty chops. So he goes at one point for a 619 on Gunther, but gets absolutely killed by a lariat. Gunther pulls him up, though, at 2. That's how you know the man is pissed off. He could have got him down for 3.
Oh, yeah.
So Gunther hits another chop and a powerbomb attempt. Dom counters with a code red for 2. Dom sends Gunther into the ropes again. He hits the 619, heads up for a frog splash. Gunther moves, hits a big drop kick. Power bombs the living shit out of Dom. Locks in the Boston Crab. Dom taps out.
Yeah, they made what could have been a real obvious squash match into a pretty entertaining bout with just enough hope spots to keep you invested. It was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was really fun. After that, Damage Control is walking backstage. Pierce walks up to him, asks what they're doing there. And Dakota says, you should know the tag champs get to show up whenever, wherever they want. That's the rule. It always has been. And Pierce says, all right, let me rephrase that. Why are you here? Dakota says, Shayna and Zoe have ran their mouths, so we're here to scout their match tonight. You can trust us. And so Nakamura walks up, and so Pierce says, oh, sorry, Nakamura says, we need to talk. So Damage Control leaves. Pierce turns his attention to Nakamura because Nakamura wants to talk about the Intercontinental title scene. Pierce says, I'll have an announcement later about Gunther's opponent in Mania. So if you want to talk about this, then meet me in my office. We can chat.
After that, we had the Party Girls versus Zoe and Shayna Baszler. Of course, Zoe and Shayna. So we have Damage Control out there for a spell.
Yeah.
And then they do like a thing afterwards because Shayna and Zoe get the win here. So Shayna chokes out Caden. Zoe rolls up Katana to get the win. Pretty decisive here over the Party Girls.
Yeah.
Damage Control then gets in the ring, and Dakota says, why are you looking at us? You don't trust us? We want to congratulate you, but it got me thinking. After the Kabuki Warriors defend their titles tomorrow on NXT, we're going to come to Houston, the far superior city in Texas, and you'll get your tag title match. Don't get it twisted, though. We're going to send you home crying like we did Bailey. And then Shayna snatches the mic and says, well, it's about time. We'll see you next week.
Yep. We get a quick shot of Becky warming up for a match against Nia, which happens soon. But first, Dom is in the trainer's room getting checked out. And Priest tells him, hey, we're going to take care of this. And looks to JD and says, you're going to take care of Gunther. Sorry. Priest says, we're going to take care of Imperium. And you're going to take care of Gunther, JD. And JD's all,
JD was really good in this segment.
He was. So then Andrade walks in, that checks on Dom. So they talk back and forth a little bit. And so JD's like, all right, hold on. What's this about Gunther? And Priest says, we'll talk later. Right now, we're going to focus on Dom.
Yeah. I just love JD had to reiterate a couple times. Wait, okay, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
What is this with me and Gunther? He's like, come on, you beat him before in OTT. After that, we had Becky Lynch versus Nia Jax. Man, what a physical match this was. This was pretty cool. They gave it a lot of
leg
time,
drop
too.
off the second rope that Nia did.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that was a lot.
That's pretty cool.
In any event, Becky goes for a superplex. Nia throws her off face first. That's when she hit the big leg drop. Nia then stalks Becky, goes for a knockout punch. Becky ducks and hits head scissors onto the middle buckle. Becky hits a kick and a Molly go round for 2. Becky fires up but runs into a Samoan drop. Nia drags her to the corner for Annihilator, but Becky's able to roll out of the way and locks in the disarmer. Nia is able to make it to her feet, but Becky transitions into a cross armbar. Nia scrambles out of the ring. Becky keeps hold, so Nia swings her hard into the barricade. She rolls Becky into the ring. Seems like she might have some momentum there, but Liv Morgan appears at the barricade. Watch me. And hits a flying forearm to ruin this match. So Liv gets in the ring, taunts Becky. She goes to leave. Becky spins her around. They argue. Nia drags Liv out, tosses Becky to the ring post. Nia hits a big leg drop on Liv. And then Nia beats, takes off
a hat off someone sitting ringside and starts hitting them with the hat and then chucks it. That was pretty funny. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
But yeah, we got more Liv and Becky a little bit later. But yeah, the meat of this match is really good.
It was really good. Then we're backstage with Adam Pearce and Ricochet. And Ricochet is making his case why he should get a shot at the Intercontinental title. He is the person who held that title before Gunther had it. 600
Yeah, he also hasn't been anywhere. Like, where's this guy? I think he's been injured, right? Hasn't he been injured?
I don't know. He just hasn't been on TV.
He hasn't been on TV at all.
No. So Pearce says, I hear you as the last person to hold the title before Gunther. Your words hold merit, but I have a plan. It's nearly finalized. I think it'll satisfy you, him, and anyone else who wants to shot the title. And then Priest walks in and says, you need to talk about JD. Sorry, we need to talk about JD getting a shot against Gunther. And JD just says, I'll do my part, my talking in the ring while he's making his case. And then they fade out to commercial. What was JD's case? I beat Gunther in OTT.
Yeah. That's, I beat this guy before. Nobody else here can claim that.
Well, Braun Breaker can't, but I mean, he's on SmackDown, but Braun beat.
Yeah.
Anyway, so backstage, Becky's walking, Liv's there. Becky walks up, kind of sarcastically clapping. Yay, good job. She says, I already apologized to you, but when I did it last week, I did it for to get back at her, not you. And Liv says, oh, the man can dish it out, but can't take it. Typical. Becky says, you can cry or fight about it, so why don't we fight next week? And Liv says, you're on. And then she leaves. Rhea walks up to Becky and just starts laughing at her. Ha ha.
That was pretty great because Rhea's just sitting there like looking like $1 million because she ain't got to do shit this week.
Yeah.
And Becky's just getting wrecked from all sides.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, we're only about, less than a month away from WrestleMania. And you're looking like an asshole right now, Becky.
Yep.
After that, we have, let's see here, Drew McIntyre video package. We see Jay warming up. And then there's this sound that happens that makes me want to fall asleep. And then I realize it's Andrade's music.
El Idolo.
They need to change this, man. It gets zero reaction.
Yeah.
And even like his entrance, like everything about the production, the angles, it's like, are they trying to mirror his AEW debut? Like, just let's try to make this the most mellow. He comes out in this awesome jacket and this mask.
And it's all red light. Yeah.
But it's like, it's really not that dramatic.
No,
like,
it's
you
not.
need some cool, like, canted angles or some shit like that.
He need his old theme back.
He definitely needs the old theme was awesome.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It just starts off with like a voice lowered a couple octaves.
Mm-hmm.
El
Yeah.
Idolo.
Before we get that match, though, we've got Pierce backstage.
Let me ask you a question. There was something weird about the production of this. So they had the shot where Pierce is talking into camera. That looked like typical TV camera they used.
Yeah.
And then they had a camera off to like 3/4. So like a 3/4 shot of Pierce. So he's not looking at the camera. The fidelity and color timing of that camera is completely different than the other camera.
Was the frame rate
took me out
different?
of
Was
it.
it like 24 frames too?
Yes, it looked like it. Yeah.
It was like a completely different thing, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't
It
know.
was time different. It was like, why are they doing this? Either do the full on, like if it's an official announcement, then just do the shot of him talking to camera. I get that. That's established.
Yeah.
And if you're going to mix it up visually, then just mix it up visually from the get-go and don't have the shot of him talking to camera.
They should go like completely 90s with it, where like it's like shaky cam, black
Dogma
and white.
style, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You got
No
the you got
lighting.
the A cam.
Yeah.
Or Dogma style too. That's a different thing that I was talking about.
Oh,
but
all right, sorry.
I like yours too. But yeah, like like MTV back in the day style, like real world style.
Oh, yeah.
It's like shaky black and white.
Yeah. No, that's good. Like the NWO vignettes.
Like the NWO vignettes, yeah. But then you cut to a bunch of different stuff,
Exactly. So
Dude,
anyway,
Oliver Stone, how about Oliver Stone, Natural Born Killers, where like there's a close up of like a
Oh,
rattlesnake?
yeah, 15 different stocks going on. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Skip bleach, you got black
or
and
Winning
white.
Time, how they have like some grainy video and then it's
Yeah, they get
16 millimeter.
The VHS looking stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
So Pierce says, as you know, the Intercontinental Championship has a long and storied history in WWE. Gunther's record-setting reign has absolutely added to that legacy. Because of that, finding a challenger worthy of facing at Mania has been just that, a challenge over the last few weeks. I tried to identify potential challengers, come across 6 men I believe deserve the chance to face him. First, former Intercontinental champions, Sami Zayn, Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura. 2 up-and-comers in Bronson Reed and J.D. McDonough, and the former challenger who has a compelling case for a rematch, debatable Pierce, Chad Gable. These men will fight each other next week to find out who can outlast each other and earn their shot at Mania in a gauntlet match. Whoever is the last man standing will face Gunther for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. So, looking at this field,
Yeah.
I can maybe make the case that 2 of the 6 really belong to be there. Because Gunther's beaten Bronson Reed.
True.
Gunther beat Ricochet.
True.
I believe Gunther's beaten Nakamura. Didn't they have a match?
Did they have a
beaten
match?
Sami Zayn. He beat Chad Gable twice. I know Chad Gable beat him by countout, but Gunther pinned him twice.
Let me double check on the Shinsuke.
I thought they had a match during the course of Gunther's
You're probably
reign.
right. You're probably
Could be
right. I'm
wrong.
trying to see like what the hell.
All right, Maggie said they did. All right.
Okay.
Up until the last couple of weeks, Sammy has gone like months without winning a match. Ricochet's barely on TV. Nakamura's got some wins so long as he's not facing Cody.
And Sammy, he lost against Sammy.
He did lose
Like
to
he's
Sammy.
lost recently.
He has lost. JD loses all the time.
JD is a perpetual loser, but he's beat him.
Yeah. Years.
And like in our
and
canon,
not WWE content.
I know it's not WWE canon. I get that.
Bronson Reed, barely on TV. Gunther
Look,
beat him, I believe.
Dude, the bottom line is this. None of these fools are worthy. This should be one man. It should be Priest. It should be Priest. Is there any chance? I mean, it's a gauntlet match, so it's not like you can wonk a finish to a gauntlet match. I mean, technically you could because it's just a match. But
Yeah.
like,
Maybe
I don't
then the
see
final
that
2,
happening.
you could wonk it.
you could wonk the final 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I don't know. I thought that like with Gunther and Priest sort of going at a little bit. I thought, okay, this is going to be Priest somehow.
Yeah.
But, like, it's not going to be Priest because he's not in this. Priest is the only guy who should be in this. Like, he's beat all these other guys.
I know.
And honestly, like, even like, okay, so I get it. Like, they're all kind of on, well, except for JD, they're all kind of on win streak and Ricochet. Like, what's the last thing Bronson Reed did? What did he do?
I don't remember.
I mean, he probably beat somebody recently.
Yeah, probably.
So I don't know. What is the match going to be? How is this going to end, dude?
Well, I mean, it's going to be Gable and Sammy the final two.
Who's gonna run the longest?
Either Sammy or Gable. One of them will start. One of them will be the last one.
You think one of them is going to be the last one?
Probably.
Well, yeah, they'd have to be. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because they're the only two names I could see actually coming out of this to face Gunther at Mania.
Sammy keeps, I'll put it this way. Sammy keeps talking about doing something historical. I could see him running the gauntlet and him and Gable having just an absolutely killer.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. Running the gauntlet with all these guys, though. I mean, this is, say what you will about them. None of them are Gunther level, but they all, except for JD, like JD should be an easy out, but nobody else should be an easy out.
No, not at all. But it fits Sammy's character for him to be first in. You know, he's a perpetual underdog.
It does, yeah. And then Chad Gable, should not be validated for bringing his child to what is a certain loss against a vicious opponent in Gunther.
The most dominant champion of our day.
Right.
And then has the temerity to blame Gunther for his own shortcomings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right, yeah.
You could, I guess Gable could take issue with what Gunther said after the fact. That's fine, but to blame Gunther for making his child cry because he lost? No! Own your L, man!
That's on you, buddy.
That's on you, Chad Gable.
Yeah,
you don't have a case to challenge for the Intercontinental title because you lost to Gunther and therefore your child got upset about it?
Yeah, bad dad.
That's on you, Chad.
Bad dad, Chad.
Come on.
Yeah.
No, I mean, here's the thing. Chad Gable is a spectacular wrestler.
He's great.
He's so good. They
good.
have had months to construct an interesting story that would lead me to believe that he had any sort of chance against Gunther at WrestleMania.
Months.
They have had months to do something. If they've done jack shit to build him up into what, in my mind, a legitimate contender at this point.
No contender.
Gunther's beated him twice.
Did you say beated him?
I did. Meant to say beaten him twice. Came out as beated him. Point is, he's lost. He has not been doing anything interesting for months, much less winning matches on a consistent basis. I don't see how you can make a case, logically, for Chad Gable to get that spot, and then if he wins at Mania, it's be like, all right.
Yeah.
In my mind, it's not this moment that I would imagine if Gable is going to be the person to face him at Mania, they want this to be because I saw what happened. Gable lost, and now he's projecting his own insecurities about making his child cry on Gunther when it's Chad Gable's fault for losing the match.
See, now you're demonstrating an understanding of human nature. Earlier with the Cody Seth thing, not so much, but now 1,000%. I'm with you on this one. Absolutely. Projecting. That's what he's doing. Bad dad Chad. That's who he is. None of these losers really deserve to beat Gunther. I hope he doesn't lose at WrestleMania. The only guy that I'd be okay with, I guess, maybe would be Sami Zayn.
It's Sammy. That's the one name, yeah.
Yeah, but I have a bad feeling it's going to be Chad Gable.
I have
a bad feeling.
I have that feeling, too.
I don't like it. I'm going to be rooting against this guy.
Oh, absolutely. And watch, he's going to have the match. His family's been sitting ringside, and it's like, oh, shit, he's going to beat Gunther.
Got a good idea. Idea. Friendo Awards, you know how we're changing things up. Maggie, if you have that document, or Larson, if you have something to write this down on, worst father of the year.
Bad Dad Award.
Bad Dad. The Chad Gable Bad Dad Worst Dad of the Year Award. Yeah.
All right. I'm writing it down right now.
Awesome. After that, we had Andrade versus, who's this guy? Is he like a new person? Apollo Crews? I've never heard of him before.
No, Apollo's been around for a long time.
Where has this guy been?
That's the question.
We looked it up. He's been on Main Event, doling out L's to NXT talent, but also taking the L's against main roster talent.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bummer. Apollo's great. It's a bummer he doesn't get any TV time at all. And then when he does, it's to take an L.
He looked so sad. When he got up on the turnbuckle at the beginning of this during the introductions to sort of soak in the crowd. You know, he's like, oh, this is where I should have been. These guys were pandemic all-stars, dude.
Yeah.
I know. They were holding it down.
Apollo Crews did awesome work during pandemic. I know.
And I'm pretty sure that's probably why Andrade's first opponent was Crews, because they've got that chemistry already.
Yeah.
Because I think they had some matches back then, if I'm not mistaken.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, Apollo Crews is great. It's a bummer. Like I said, it's just a bummer that he's never on TV because he's really good.
It's an absolute drag. You know, man, there was that brief flicker of personality that he showed in NXT the first time around.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, that arrogance, that should be his character.
Remember the pose off with Lashley?
Oh, that was good.
That segment was so good.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's just a loss here to Andrade.
Good match.
El Idolo. Yeah, it was fine. It was just short.
El Idolo. Yeah.
You know, hammerlock DDT later. Andrade gets the win.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, we're backstage. Jackie's interviewing Sammy. She asks Sammy about the Gauntlet match. He says, well, I'm thinking about that belief. The path will present itself, and it has. I want to be a champion, and now this path has revealed itself. This match is the only thing standing in my way. The chance to face who is possibly the most dominant champion ever. This is do or die for me. This match next week is the most important match. So Ivar and Valhalla walk up. And Valhalla says, I've been praying, trying to understand how a pathetic man like you is in this match while a battle-tested warrior like Ivar is not. And essentially, Ivar's like, you're in match. You have a chance to face Gunther. You can't beat him. I know I can. I'm going to prove you wrong. Sorry. So Sammy says, well, I know I can beat you. Prove me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Get in the ring tonight. And Ivar says, you can forget WrestleMania. You won't make it to next week. So that match is set for later.
Yeah. Let's see here. After that, we've got The Way. It's Indus and Candy. They're arguing about their tag title opportunity at all now. They're like, are we even going to get one of these? Candice in particular is pretty upset about things. And then next to them, Natalya is chewing out Tegan Nox for eliminating her in the Rumble. She backtracks because Tegan's like, what the hell is the Rumble? And Natty's like, she can, as Chris Garrix here points out, Natty continues to gaslight Tegan and says, I didn't try to eliminate you first. Maxine and Ivy walk in. Maxine gives some praise to Candice, who snaps back. She's like, oh, you've had, 3 matches? I don't need a pity party from someone who couldn't lace my boots. And then she storms off, and it is like, I'm sorry she's being like this. I'll go find out what's going on. And so she goes to do that. What'd you think of the staging? This sort of, what was the old, it was like a mise en scène, that's what they used to call it, right? Where it was just sort of like one camera that sort of roams around. It's all set up.
Well, that phrase is just how you frame the shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what happens within it.
Yeah. There's sort of a bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah, it was very busy. It was very, I guess, Altman-esque.
I was about to say Altman, yeah.
Although you had to have, because with the overlapping dialogue and stuff, you need to have that camera moved around a bit more, you know?
Yeah, right. Oh, man. What'd you think of that? You think it was all right? A little messy?
I mean, it was supposed to be messy. I think that was the intention of it. Obviously,
I think
it's people getting upset because they're not in the tag title scene. They want to be in tag title scene, but I think all the teams involved here, save for Ivy and Maxine, have lost their tag title shots. So
they're all losers.
They've had opportunities.
Yeah. I just wish, this was like maybe the worst type of unmotivated camera. Like this guy, he's here, and then they happen to be here, and they happen to start talking right here. This is one of those presentation things they really need to modernize, and I'm not even sure. It's like because they've done stuff in the past where you're backstage, something's going on, the cameraman, happens to catch it, and then happens to catch something that goes on behind what's going on, and then they go focus on that. But this sort of like lazy, I'm going to go to you, and then I'm going to go to you, and then I'm going to go back over here. I don't know. I can't stand it. It takes me out of everything, and it makes it look like goofy-ass community theater.
It does. Next, a really good tag match between Judgment Day and Imperium. This match was tons of fun. Tons of fun.
This was a good one. This was a good one.
Good. Really good. Some really good back and forth. In the end, Judgment Day gets the W. We could read off some moves, but just go out of your way to watch it. It's that good.
And they're booking Priest so strong these days.
They are. They're finally getting Priest some wins. He ends up hitting a South of Heaven choke slam on Vinci.
Yeah.
No victory for Giovanni Vici.
No Vittoria, but they did get the old telestrator out.
They did
to watch how this.
That was pretty funny when he has him up for the chokeslam. And Pat's like, he's 1, 2, 3, 13 feet in the air.
He's 13 feet in the air.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, Pat was on one last night. It was great.
Yeah, he was. And then they have the announcement on the show that Paul Heyman is getting inducted to the Hall of Fame, and Michael Cole tells a story about how when Cole and Taz were doing commentary for SmackDown. Of course, it was taped at the time. That they'd be doing stuff, whether it's pickups, whatever, in Stamford, and Paul Heyman was essentially mentoring them about their commentary.
Yeah, and they both ended up, where they are. Taz is super good. Michael Cole is man,
one of the best to ever do it.
One of the best ever. He's probably going to be on the Mount Rushmore for that gig.
Yep. After that, we got an interview with Drew McIntyre, and she asked about. Do you think Seth's listening to you? And he goes, no, not at all. Not for a second. You know why? Seth Rollins is a junkie, a spotlight junkie. Can't help himself. His responsibility is on Raw, but he latches his claws on something else. Big comebacks, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. Cody debuts, Seth Rollins. He should focus on the world title, and it's to the detriment of his body and his mind. He's a grown man. I don't care. As long as you show up to fight me at WrestleMania, I'll put you down because that title is better than you. Same for Jey Uso. All I wanted was an apology. Someone as dim-witted as you could have figured it out. I'm the bigger man, though, so I'm sorry. I know you need this victory, but there's no way in hell you're beating Drew McIntyre tonight.
Good stuff from Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, Drew's doing spectacular work.
He's doing really great stuff.
He's the most interesting character on Raw.
He is. I agree with that.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
Well, Gunther's close. Because Gunther just, he's there to talk shit and act super tough, but he can't help but smile the whole time.
I know. It's awesome. He's so happy. He's so happy. Living his best life, that Gunther.
He really is.
After that, we got Damage Control walking around backstage. Rhea Ripley's there. Great shot of her and Io just side by side, eyeballing each other. She just says, "Stay out of my territory." And then Io scoffs, says, "Ha!" And then walks away with Damage Control. Ivar's music hits. Cole freaks out about the antlers. That becomes a big thing. Valhalla gets on the announce table.
It takes over the match, pretty much. It was a really good match.
It was a good match. But give me antlers. She takes off Cole's headset, puts the antlers on him. He absolutely goes orgasmic here. And Pat McAfee literally says, "Do you know how much of an asshole you look like right now?" And
you look like you just exploded all over yourself.
And Cole's like, "You can't say that." He says, "No, you exploded with excitement."
Oh, it was so funny.
It was good. This was really, really funny. But yeah, the match itself was really good too.
Yeah. And Sammy gets the win here, Helluva Kick, after avoiding the Doom Salt. Really, really good match. I'm really happy that even though Eric's been out, Ray Rowe's been out for a while and seemingly will be out for a while. I think he had neck surgery. They're utilizing Ivar, and he's stepping up, man. He's been doing awesome, awesome work while Eric's been out.
I'm kind of surprised that he wasn't a part of this Gauntlet match.
I know, me too.
But because I thought that would have been a good situation for him. Same. Anyways, afterwards, so after the match, Bronson appears and squashes Sammy. He hits a tsunami on him, pose in the corner. Then backstage, we got Kathy with Gunther, the ring general. Gunther from Austria. Gunther says, "Dom, he let out the challenge and he stepped up. I gotta give him that, but I never questioned the outcome." And then she asks about the Intercontinental Gauntlet match. He says, "It's stacked. It should be stacked. I elevated this belt to heights never seen, and I'm a bit flattered. It's the creme de la creme of Raw. All competing to challenge me at WrestleMania, but what they'll earn is being out-challenged and outclassed by the Austrian Rattlesnake." The what?
Austrian Rattlesnake, huh?
He said that?
I don't remember that at all.
Crazy.
What?
Where? How do you say what in German?
Was.
What?
Was.
Was.
Yeah.
There we go. I like it.
Then we got Chad Gable. He walks up. He goes, "I'm so sick of that smile on your face, but I can't look past it. I can't look past what you did after our last match." Chad, this isn't factually accurate. This is my editorialized, because he says, "You made my daughter cry." Not true, Chad. Mm-hmm. You did. You lost. And these guys may see this as a path to mania, but I see it as a path of redemption, and that means delivering on what I swore to do, taking the belt from you and putting it on my waist. Then I'll take your smile and put it on my daughter's face. To Chad Gable, this match means more. And Gunther just smirks at him and walks off.
I'll take your smile.
He doesn't view Chad Gable as a serious person, Steve.
You're not a serious person. because he's not a serious person.
Not.
You can wear all the suits you want instead of your goofy, Five Below Kurt Angle outfit from Alpha Academy. Nah. You're not the ring general.
No.
After that, Jay is backstage talking to the camera. Drew Mack. For weeks, all I hear you do is cry and complain about how you want an apology. I'm sorry. And the crowd, every time he sort of says a sentence, they go, yeet.
Yeet.
He's so over. He says, I'm sorry for my duty tonight. Sorry for getting this work tonight. If there's anything to find out tonight, Jay, don't play. Yeet.
Yeet. He's got sunglasses. He put them on there. It says yeet on the sunglasses.
Yeah. The crowd love those sunglasses. They pop big for him.
Oh, heck yeah.
Oh, man. This next segment, though, no pop. It's so corny, and I feel so bad for Ciampa. He stands out like a sore thumb. Just
Well, he was playing video games like this,
which was supposed to be the funny gimmick.
it was supposed to be funny, but I don't.
It's so over the top. It's so broad. It's so it's so cringy.
This was a man whose theme song used to be the chorus of booze.
Yeah, dude, this would have been the thing that if the niece was here. So the niece, sadly, I shouldn't say that, but she's seemingly, because she's trying to spend a day a week here at the house to hang out with the family. But it was supposed to be Mondays, but she's switching to Friday. To Wednesdays now.
Oh,
so
Dynamite.
she's only getting able to watch Dynamite. Great, she gets to watch these 25-minute fucking 6-man matches.
Yeah. So yeah, it's DIY. Xavier Woods and R-Truth backstage playing 2K24. So the Miz walks in and he says, I have your ideas about dealing with Judgment Day, dropping slime, feeding them bread. We need to hit them where it hurts. We need to go after their tag titles. And R-Truth is responding to some of these things. He goes, yeah, they might be not lactose, have a gluten intolerance. It'll make them hurt. So R-Truth, of course, was funny in this. And so then they all do the regeneration X pose, which is just this. And Woods says, I really want to hate this, but I can't.
Woods was funny in this too.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was.
But it's not good.
No, it's not.
I think sort of what makes it not good is honestly just DIY.
I know.
Like, that's the thing. Like, you put Miz and Truth together, it's pretty funny. They got super charisma, good chemistry. And you put Miz and Truth together, and then you add Woods to it. That's good stuff right there. That's good stuff.
It's Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa should not be within a mile of segments like this.
I know, man. I know. It's just,
you can have Gargano in there. That's fine.
Yeah. No, even that, I'm not into that. Get out of there. Go. You guys got to go do something else.
Agreed. They got to do something interesting, especially Tommaso Ciampa. Should not be around that at all.
No, he shouldn't. Anyways, after that, we have our main event. Drew McIntyre versus Jey Uso. Another awesome match. Jey, again, on the verge of getting a win here. So Jey heads up top to get a splash in, Uso splash. But Solo hops over the barricade and distracts him.
What do you think of his Bloodline vest?
It didn't stand out as particularly offensive to me. What was your thoughts on it?
No, I just hadn't noticed him wearing a Bloodline vest, so it's like a puffer vest. The quilted ones,
Was it?
It looked like it had a Bloodline logo, embroidered on the.
I noticed that. I didn't know the puffer aspect of it.
I think there had a puffer quality to it.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go back and look at it now, and I'll probably clown it now that you mention it. So I'm glad you did. Anyway,
it looked like he just came back from like the winter Bloodline company picnic.
Was it like? Yeah, it was like North Face.
Oh, I didn't see the brand.
No, I know, but that's like, it's like the most corporate thing you could wear for your outdoor.
Exactly. And he's had like a black long sleeve shirt.
It's like obviously. It's like,
but.
If like Lacey is like, me and her are going to go to dinner with like one of her old friends and I want to act like a normal person, I'll go get a North Face thing,
Well, I don't think you will, but I understand the point.
Well, yeah, no, it's like, because all I got is Friendo Club merch and wrestling shirts.
Yeah. So Solo hops over the barricade. That distracts Jimmy. He gets back in the ring. Drew hits him with the future shock. Jay kicks out. So Cody's music hits. He charges down to the ring and takes out Solo. Chases Solo to the back. Drew's set up for a Claymore. Jay, though, counters with a super kick and then hits a spear. Heads up top, and this time Jimmy appears ringside. This, again, distracts Jay. He eats the Claymore. Drew gets the win. So then Jimmy grabs a chair. He gets in the ring, and then Seth runs down. Runs right past Drew McIntyre on the ramp. Doesn't acknowledge him. Doesn't make eye contact with him. Nothing. And Drew is so offended.
Yeah.
It's the best part of this whole thing.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It's like formulaic bloodline interference. Fine. Jay has to take the cell. But they get that beat where Drew just stands there, just utterly and completely offended that Seth doesn't even acknowledge his presence running the ring to take out the bloodline. So he gets back in the ring and hits Seth with the Claymore after Seth chases off Jimmy. And then Drew holds up the title and says, I like this because it echoes what Seth said to him months back. He says, you got to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm,
yeah. He says to Seth, do the right thing.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking at it now. It's got Solo, down one side
but
here.
Is it embroidered or is it silk screened?
It's definitely not embroidered.
Oh, all right. I just got a quick glimpse. It's definitely puffy though.
It's not as puffy as I was hoping it was.
It's not huge puffy, but it's definitely got the kind of
it's got a little bit, yeah. It's got like the thing, like the panels of puff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not. I was hoping it would be more like Gore-Tex.
Well, I don't know if you can expect Gore-Tex, man.
Well, the more ridiculous, the better, in my estimation.
Oh, you want the thick, huge, puffy vest. Yeah.
Cody does the SpongeBob walk and then the very careful jog. Ooh, he's got some nice shoes. What are those? They look like Jordans.
Yeah, he wears a lot of Jordan 1s and Air Force 1s.
He does. Yeah. And then he runs them away. Goodbye, Solo. Anyways. Would you like...
Let's answer some questions, yeah.
Yeah.
Pete Meehan here with the first question says, WrestleMania approaches, what capacity, if any, do you see for John Cena or Stone Cold at the show? I don't believe their presence at Mania is necessary, per se. I think it looks like it's star-studded enough. You got some interesting stories.
Stone Cold and who else?
Cena.
Oh, Cena will be there. Because, Cena was just there. And, he can do a thing. I don't know. I mean, look, I love Stone Cold. Bring him out, sure. I don't think he's got to be, part of the Bloodline story. A lot of people really want to hear that glass break for the Bloodline. I'll be honest, I would go crazy too, but I don't need to see it. It would probably just take me out of the story.
Yeah, it's not necessary. It's not necessary. Just focus on telling the story and not just throwing in a bunch of pieces and a bunch of people into that just to do so,
Yeah, and by the way, if you guys want your question answered here on the YouTube, drop us a super chat, just like Shelby did here. Says, enjoyed last night's show. I hope Cody and Rollins have something better to say on Friday because I'll be there live. If Seth Rollins knows what's good for him, he'll just drop the diarrhea Dwayne thing. Do not bring that up again.
Don't. I mean, or try that in Rock's face, and The Rock just utterly annihilates him.
I mean,
The Rock goes on. The Rock says for 5 minutes, tear down Seth in that YouTube or the social media promo.
It's not like walking clown emojis any better. It's funnier because he says it in such a way.
It's funnier because it obviously tickles him.
Exactly. You got it exactly right.
Seth realized that Diarrhea Dwayne sucks.
He knows it's bad.
And he knows it's bad. He's trying to do it intentionally bad, but the framing was off. You can't do it that way.
The other thing that I love about The Rock right now, and I just want to reiterate this, is the fact that he keeps on saying that he owns it all in reference to his own stuff, and somehow that makes him the boss.
Well, he's also on the board.
I know, but he mainly was saying, I own it all now. You know what that means? I'm the boss. Well, the board seat.
The Rock. Yeah.
The board seat is what makes you the boss, not that you own it all.
Yeah.
All of your stuff. I don't know. He just kept on saying it. It made me laugh.
I know, it's funny. It is funny. Cat Dad 7 says, you and I are a tag team, but your choices for a theme song are between the Don Callis Brown Note theme or DIY. What's your pick? That's
the Brown
easy.
Note. The Brown Note.
The Brown Note. Shit twins.
Yeah, the Brown Note.
Brown Note.
I wouldn't get close to that DIY theme.
No.
Any other theme. Anything else. Silence.
And here's the thing. I would go to Def Rebel if they, it'd be Mikey Ruckus for the Callis theme. It'd be like, hey, 400, was it 400 and something other hertz?
Yeah, 430 or something.
Like boost that.
Oh yeah.
Like get that on the verge of clipping.
Listen,
almost distorted. I want to see if this is real. This is
I want
true.
to, 10 or 1,900 people full soil. Yeah.
Or week after week, just make it a little bit louder. So like the first week, people are like, oh man.
Unsettled.
A little unsettled. The next week, even more so until finally 10 weeks later, full soil.
Just full soil. Yeah.
Welcome to AEW, full soil.
week 6, it's like a shart.
Yeah.
By week 8, full dump out.
Yeah, exactly. AEW
Welcome to AEW Full Soil this November. That's a good one. Elemental Giant says, how should the order of the Gauntlet match go?
Sammy. Probably Sammy, Nakamura.
Reed next, because he just squashed Sammy.
Yeah, but I feel like if you do Reed a little bit later, that's even more adversity for Sammy to overcome. Like,
okay.
You do Reed second to last.
Sammy Nakamura.
Sammy's exhausted. It feels like all hope is lost. And
All
somehow gets the win over Reed. And then Gable is there. He gets the plum spot, the last one.
All right.
So you don't want JD in there with Sammy too early, because then it's too easy.
Yeah, right. That's
So that's why I'm thinking Nakamura.
Okay.
So you do Nakamura, Sammy wins.
Mm-hmm.
You do Ricochet.
Mm-hmm.
Next, Sammy wins. Then you do JD.
That's good.
Then Bronson Reed.
Okay.
And then Gable. I think
Boom.
that's the right number.
Done. Oh, wow. Here we go. John in Alistair voice says, since Bobby Lashley's theme strikes fear in everyone's hearts, which theme strikes the following emotions?
Okay.
Joy. Claudio's.
Okay.
Dun 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 dun
Yeah,
dun.
that's not bad. That's not
That
bad.
one. Sadness.
The old Undisputed Era theme.
Sadness. The Undisputed Kingdom theme.
Yeah, that was not good.
Anger. I know what anger is. It's when I hear Sammy Guevara.
See, he was suspended.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Didn't follow concussion protocol, apparently.
Well, I'm trying to think not just who the song is connected to as well. Like you hear the song and it makes you get angsty, angry.
DIY.
There you go. That's it.
We are.
Gosh, so bad.
And laughter. Brown note.
Yeah.
That makes me laugh.
It does make me laugh. It does make me laugh too. Luis here asks if Andrade makes a new Ingobernables faction on Raw, who would you like to see recruited?
I was kind of thinking of that. All him and Dom stuff. Are they going to start realigning some of the factions right now? Like you got LWO, and they're headlined by Rey Mysterio. You've got
Legado.
You got Legado, headlined by Santos. Andrade could recruit like Dom if Judgment Day sort of breaks up. So you can get Dom with Andrade. What's like a good tag team?
I think a good tag team on Raw.
Are there any tag teams that would fit the bill? Axiom, Nathan Frazier. Any good tag teams like luchador tag teams in?
I don't necessarily know if it has to be a luchador tag team.
Oh, here we go. Andrade, Dragon Lee. Eastside says Andrade. Okay, I'm going to say yes to Dragon Lee.
Wasn't Dragon Lee already LWO adjacent?
Adjacent is the key term, though.
Yeah, I know, but still, there's already a relationship there. That's
Dragon Lee needs to be a bad guy.
What about Veer and Sangha in Gobernables faction? That'd be awesome.
No, man. Don't like it. Don't like it. Who are those? The dudes? Who's Jada
Brooks
Parker?
Jensen.
Tony D and Stacks.
There you go.
Hey, I'm the Don around here. How you know?
Oh, White Brownie says Dijak. Yeah, Dijak would be awesome.
That'd be terrible. Stop saying everything's awesome. No, it'd be terrible.
That's great.
Joe Gacy.
No.
Joe Gacy and Dijak as a tag team. Yeah, Dragon Lee's also old school LFI.
Yeah, that's true. See, that's a strong case there.
There you go. Rudo Dragon Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
There we go.
OTM, that's who I was thinking of. OTM.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that. Anyways, any more questions? Are there any questions that are hashtagged first? Because I'm trying to get some people who haven't. All right. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah.
Sorry, Decal's got one here. It says, when Cody retires from wrestling while working for WWE, would AEW pay a classy tribute to him in the same manner that WWE did have done for Sting's retirement? Absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 1,000%. Yeah. All right. Anyways, that's gonna do it for the show today. Thanks everybody for. I'm getting cues, Larson. I'm getting cues.